welcome to Super Veil Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. I am back from my honeymoon and I'm ready to tell you all about it. You may hear I'm a bit husky. We both picked up a cold when we were in Italy and we mostly felt okay. And then it was like as soon as we came back to the colder weather here, we both felt less okay. So that's why it's taken me just a little while to get back on YouTube. But I've missed you all. I hope you've been taking care of yourselves. And I thought today I would just update you on our honeymoon and on how some of the outfits went and with some pictures to share. Some of you will have seen them already on Instagram. I'll talk about maybe some of the things that I wore less or things that I didn't photograph. And I also had time to go to a cheeky little fabric shop in Palermo. So let's set off. My husband and I got married in October last year. And we decided to save our honeymoon for a year later. This was sort of for various reasons. So there was some work stuff going on and then a couple of weddings we had to go to. There were all sorts of things happening. And eventually, when we decided we were going to go to somewhere in Europe rather than to Japan, which is where we originally wanted to go, we decided that we'd rather not go in the summer because it's too hot and more busy and more expensive. And so we decided to wait until our 1 year anniversary, so October half term, and then go then. So we went to the Amalfi Coast and Sicily, so some different bits of Italy. Had an amazing time. One of the reasons we wanted to go there was because you sort of can't go wrong in Italy. It's like beautiful scenery, nice weather, great food, lots of things to do and see, but you can equally just sort of chill out. And we definitely had a really good balance for the holiday. The weather was a bit of a mixed bag. So we'd been told that that part of Italy, so we were quite far south, normally has sort of mid to low 20s in October. It normally has quite good weather. But when we first went out, so we flew out, we spent one night in Naples and then we went down to Amalfi and we had this beautiful Airbnb in Amalfi. And we had one nice evening there. And then the next 2 days, it was constant thunderstorms just the whole time. Like, honestly, it did not stop raining for a second of those 2 days. So fortunately for us, we had a nice, the Airbnb was really nice. It had like a terrace with a hot tub and beautiful views, and it had a covering. And then it also had a little kitchen and a nice big cozy bed with big TV with Netflix and stuff. So it was actually a really nice place to be hibernating. So we would go down into town, get absolutely drenched in the morning. We bought lots of fresh food from the market, and then we basically came back up and spent most of our time hibernating. We watched a whole series on Netflix in one day. We made some amazing food and just had a really nice, it was actually quite nice to just be able to switch off and, you know, read and listen to things and chat to each other. And it was really nice. But it did mean that in the first few days, I basically didn't have any suitable clothing. I'd made so much amazing stuff, but it was all dependent on the weather being good. So I had a moment there where I was thinking, oh God, am I not going to get to wear any of this? But actually the rest of our time was really good. The weather was lovely. It was like from 22 to 25, 26 degrees. And yeah, we had a great trip in the end. So after we were in Amalfi for a couple of days, we went back to Naples for a night. Then we flew out to Sicily. So we were mostly in Palermo. We did travel around a bit to a place called Cefalù, which is like a town on the beach. So if you've watched White Lotus, in the second series when they're in Sicily, all of the beach and sea scenes are filmed at that beach. A really nice little town. And we also went to a place called Agrigento, which is where there is a place called the Valley of the Temples. So there's loads of ancient Greek temples and things really well. What's the word? I can't think what the word is, but they're really well preserved. And there's also a place called the Turkish Steps, which is sort of an interesting rock formation, like cliff formation there. Trains, really cheap and really efficient in Italy. Don't know what Italian people must think when they come to the UK and it costs like hundreds of pounds. So yeah, we use the trains a lot. I ate some amazing food. We went to this gorgeous little fabric shop. So I'll show you what I purchased from there a bit later. but in Palermo. We also had our first wedding anniversary in Palermo, and we went for, Nathan had found somewhere that did a tasting menu, and we had an amazing tasting menu, really beautiful food. And we got the wine pairing, which we don't normally do because we aren't big wine drinkers. We got absolutely sloshed. I had to change out of my shoes before we left because I was like, I don't think I can walk out of the restaurant without falling over in these massive heels. So I had to change into trainers. The shame. Everyone else had gone by then, so it was fine. But no, we just had an amazing time. And then we went back to the mainland, and we stayed in a lovely hotel in Pompeii. So there's like ancient Pompeii, and then there's new Pompeii. And we stayed in a really beautiful, like, luxury hotel just for one night. And again, there we were really lazy because we've been traveling a lot. We just got room service and chilled out. It was really nice. We had a view of Mount Vesuvius out the window. And then we went to Sorrento, and we stayed in this great hotel, sort of on its own, a lot of its own land. So it had olive groves and lemon trees, and there was a dog and cats, and a private beach. Stunning views. It was right on the coast, so we had really beautiful sunsets. And yeah, we honestly just had a great time. So thank you everyone for the well wishes as well. I really appreciated it, and especially the well wishes with the outfits, because you followed that journey. So yeah, let me tell you a bit more about the outfits. Now, there were certain things I loved. There were certain things I was less into. So if I talk first of all about the workhorses, so patterns that I've worn before and made before and I knew would work, there are a couple of those that came on this trip. The Gilbert shirt by Helen's Closet. So I made 2 of these. I made one, I don't have great official pictures of these, but I just took some little snaps. I made one in a Fabric Godmother fruity fabric, which I think I purchased from Jenny Stitches. And I used some of the edit, which is by Narissa. Most of you, I think, probably follow Narissa. She used to do the Bargello edit. Now it's just the edit. I had these little fruity buttons made by her, which I loved. I thought they were very sort of kitsch. And then I also had the Gilbert shirt made up in another Fabric Godmother fabric, the Linnea viscose linen. These I wore loads. I don't know why I didn't take photos of them, really. I just was wearing them a lot day to day. So I bought a ready to wear, like a chambray dress from Monsoon, and also a just plain black dress from Monsoon, like a day dress. And I would wear these over the top. And I made them because I know how much I like wearing a Gilbert. It's really easy to chuck on. It also, because it was warm, but it wasn't like, 30 something degrees, so it wasn't crazy. So it just means it's sort of good for warm weather, but it's not like I wasn't getting cold if we stayed out a bit longer into the evening or whatever. So yes, those 2 patterns I knew every Gilbert I've ever made, I've worn loads in the summer. So those were really great additions to my wardrobe. I also made 3 Upton dresses. Now, I do think with Uptons, they are like, sometimes I think the pattern doesn't look the most inspiring, but it is such a good base. Like, the fit, it's so easy to get a good fit with that dress, and there are so many different options that you really can make it whatever you want. So I made 3, and I'm obsessed with all of them. So I made the polka dot one here, which was inspired by a Monsoon dress actually, which is made out of a satin, like a Duchess satin fabric. With all of these, I drafted my own skirts. So they have a variety of skirts on the Upton, Cashmere Upton pattern, but they all use a lot of fabric. And I think I've said this before, I tend to, when I'm putting a skirt on something, I'll cut out all the other pieces, see how much fabric I have left, and then I'll normally work out the volume and the length of the skirt based on that. And I know now roughly how much fabric I need if I want a fuller skirt or a less full skirt, blah, blah, blah. So with this one, I made a really nice full gathered skirt. It had, I think I cut out 4 panels for the skirt full width, so 150 centimetres, but I actually only used 3. I think I could have handled a 4th, but I think at the time I just didn't want to gather anymore. So yes, this dress I love. I think it's going to be really versatile. I had a bit of fun. I styled it up with red accessories, and I wore it on our terrace at the apartment we were staying in Amalfi. I didn't actually wear it out of the apartment this time. We had dinner in the apartment. Yeah, but I absolutely loved wearing that. I felt really, really special in it. Very like living the Dolce Vita. The fabric has a tiny bit of stretch in it as well, so it was very sort of comfortable to wear. I also used 2 of my Dolce & Gabbana dead stock fabrics to make Upton dresses. Here is the pink and white one, which was the original Dolce & Gabbana dead stock fabric of my dreams. And I wore this to a vineyard by Mount Vesuvius. So we went for a wine tasting. It was all very, very lovely. And then we were a little bit tipsy, went out and took some photos afterwards. I love this dress. The only slight change I might make is I put in a waistband, and in hindsight, I'm like, would I have preferred it without the waistband? And if I just elongated the bodice a bit. I don't dislike the waistband, but there is one thing where I'm like, oh, maybe I'd have preferred, maybe it would look a bit more contemporary without the waistband, I think, is what I was thinking. But again, I love this. I felt $1,000,000 in this dress, and we had this like set lunch that they do at the vineyard, and it had spaghetti and tomato sauce with meatballs. And I did not spill a drop of that on this dress. So, hallelujah, a miracle. Then the third one was made out of this other fabric that I thought was a Dolce & Gabbana dupe, but it actually says Dolce & Gabbana on it, on the print. So I'm pretty sure it is a dead stock, an actual dead stock one, rather than it being like a copy. And for this, I made another Upton, a fuller skirt this time. I used all 4 panels, and I also made faux ties because I sort of like the look of the ties on the straps, but I thought I wanted to be able to wear a jacket over it if I needed to, or a cardigan or whatever, if we were out in the evening. So I just made 2 sort of long ties, which I then tied up. I stole that from the Tilly and the Buttons. I think it's the Sky dress, like one of their sundress patterns. So yeah, so you can sort of tie it up and then you get the look of the sort of big bows. I did say to Nathan at one point, like, do you think I could have gone bigger on the bows? And he said, I think the bows are big enough. And I was like, I don't know, I think I could have handled a bigger bow. But I did like them very much, and I thought I felt really pretty in that dress. And I actually wore it for, I think it was our last full day in Sorrento. And we spent the day on the property of our hotel because they had this lovely beach and they had all of this lovely stuff going on. And we had a really beautiful day that day. We wandered around all the sort of lemon groves and olive groves, and we went down to the beach and we had a paddle and we had like a nice alfresco lunch. Yeah, we just had a lovely time. So those were patterns that I have made before. I knew I would love wearing them because I love the fabric and I knew that I already loved the patterns. So those are workhorses. We knew they'd be great. Another one that I knew would be great was the Cinnamon Daisy Willow dress. You've heard me badger on about this a million times. I made one in this Fabric Godmother viscose. I think it's viscose Lurex. So this fabric is light. When I tell you, it is very, very light. And I had initially planned to make a Fabric Godmother peony, but when it came to it, I just couldn't face cutting out so many pieces and having to get the prints to match. So I thought, tried and tested, I will go for the Cinnamon Daisy Willow. Now here is a picture of the willow here. I wore this for 2 special occasions. So I wore it for our anniversary dinner where we went for the tasting menu. And I also wore it for our last night in Italy, where, please don't judge, we went for sushi. Which I know people will be like, you were in Italy? And you went for sushi? But we were in Italy for 17 days. We ate a lot of very, very good Italian food. But I would say Sorrento is not the best place for food. Sorrento is quite like it's like a tourist hub. So it sort of is well connected to so many areas. And it is just packed full of tourists and tourist businesses. And the food was all right, but we went to a few places with really good reviews. And then we went and we were like, it's okay, but it's not as good as stuff we've had elsewhere. So I just think we felt by the last night we weren't massively feeling inspired by anywhere. And then we saw this sushi place that we both love sushi. And we saw the sushi place, and it ended up having, we didn't realise this when we went in, but it was like all you can eat for 35 euros each. And the food was beautiful. And my, we ate some serious sushi that day. So anyway, besides the point, we did get very good sushi. If you like sushi and you find yourself in Sorrento and you've had enough of Italian food by that point, let me know and I will tell you the great sushi place that has all you can eat. And nice cocktails too. So that was our last dinner in Italy. And so, yes, we went and I wore that dress there too. And I felt really great in this dress. I love the shape. The fabric feels really special. I did the flutter sleeves. And yeah, I just feel like I had some really beautiful dresses to wear for that trip. Now, there were some things that I either didn't wear or that I just didn't photograph. If we talk about swimwear, I did wear both my Marblehead and my Gia surf suit, which I've worn a few times now. Surf, I don't put photos of myself in swimwear on the internet because I work with a lot of children and teenagers. The surf suit, great. You probably need some bust support, so I have like a swim bra that I wore underneath, because it doesn't have literally anything built in to help with that. You could also, I think, probably make it with a slightly firmer fabric or line it with a firmer fabric, which would help a bit. But I wear it with something underneath. But I really love wearing it. It's a great pattern, the fit's good, etc, etc. Marblehead was great. Again, I love the design of it. I do, again, feel like I could have just done with a little bit more support, which I think is down to fabric choice more than anything else. So I used 2 Liberty Swim fabrics, which are gorgeous. But yeah, I just didn't feel like quite enough support, although maybe that's a me thing, I don't know. So I think next time I make that, because I will make that again, I think I will just do some power mesh as well, which I think will do when I need it to. It is a great design. It also has the only clasp option is at the front, not at the back, which I actually really liked. Getting in and out, it just felt very sort of secure. And just the design is very pretty, and it's nice to have swimwear designs for bigger sizes that actually have nice design features on them too. So really loved those, but I don't have any pictures. Is there anything that I made that I didn't love? The red dress that was giving me a lot of issues before we went, that I altered to try and make it a little less sort of, I don't know what word to use, because I just feel like I'm going to use the word frumpy. Yeah, just, I don't know. I used the cashmere Grafton pattern for that. I don't think I made the best fabric choice. And then I fiddled around to make it better. And I think I made elements of it better. But the fit became very boxy on me. I've got like a rough picture of it because I put it on to wear to dinner and I was like, no, I'm not wearing it. I don't feel good in it. I feel like it made my body look very square. And I think that's partly because the waist wasn't hitting me in the right place. And also I think I just need a little bit more flare out from the waist. I used their pattern piece for the skirt, which was an A-line pattern piece. And I think I just need something with a bit more body at the top of the skirt to give me the shape that I want. So yeah, I think there are definitely elements that are worth fixing on this. And I think cashmere are so good with fit that I think it is probably because I fiddled around with it because I made the wrong fabric choice. But yeah, I didn't wear this. I was quite disappointed in it. Because I really wanted like a cute red dress for my honeymoon. But there you go. So I didn't love that one. I did not wear the Darla jumpsuit that I made either. I had sort of intended to wear it. There was one day where I almost did, but I ended up deciding it was impractical for toilet purposes. I can't remember where we would go. It might have been when we went to Pompeii, as in ancient Pompeii. I think I was going to put it on with a Gilbert shirt over the top, and then I just thought like, oh, I just don't want to be getting undressed in the toilet. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is fair. So I did not wear that. I'm trying to... Oh, my silk other Dolce & Gabbana top. That was very, very pretty. It's a funny design. So that is the true No, it's not True Bias, I'm lying. Paper Cut Patterns Estella top pattern. So I'll pop a picture of that there. Now I chose to wear it with the high neck at the front and a low back because I think the back looks really pretty. And also I'm very aware nowadays of trying not to catch too much sun, so I burn quite easily here, so I just wanted to have that sort of covered because we were out for the day. I wore this when we went to Cefalù, which was that beachside town in Sicily, and yeah, it's weird because the concept of the top is that it's reversible, so you can wear it as like a wrap top at the front, or you can wear it tied in a bow at the front, or you can wear it as I wore it on this occasion at the back. And obviously the fit issue there is it's sort of fine if you're smaller chested, but if you are bigger chested, larger chested, then it's like you don't have boobs on your back. So it's like, how do you get a good fit when it's reversible? And I do think there are some things, like I had a dress underneath, so this didn't really matter, but like I felt like it needed, when I wore it with the high neck at the front, I felt like I needed a little bit more length, because it just sat, the elastic just sat under my boobs. But you know, I was just one Mexican wave away from ruin. So yeah, there are definite adjustments to make, and I've previously found with that pattern, again, when I wear the high neck at the front, that there's just like a little bit of excess there. But I think it's super pretty, and it's quite good when you've not got loads of fabric, which is how I ended up on that. So this was a another dead stock Dolce & Gabbana fabric. It's a silk, so it was expensive, and I just didn't have that much, so I wanted something that I would wear, but that didn't use loads of fabric. And I did feel really beautiful wearing this, to be honest. And I think now that I've like washed it and cleaned it as well, I think I could wear it front ways as well. It was just it's quite low for me when I wear it with the wrap. So yeah, you know, so I think some days I'm in the mood to like have the ladies on show, and other times I just don't want the fuss. That's probably the wrong thing to say, but you know what I mean? Sometimes I just don't feel like having my cleavage out for the whole day. So I just get quite self-conscious sometimes. So yeah, so I like that it has the option for the reverse. I think it's a really beautiful fit. The fabric is gorgeous. It feels really luxe. And it's interesting because I have this view of silk. You always sort of think of like silk satin or whatever, but I've worked with a couple of silks recently, and they were both really easy to work with. So this one has a very slight rib texture to it, so it's not so slippery. And yeah, it was just a really beautiful fabric, so it was definitely a good investment. And overall, I was really pleased with my wardrobe. I made some Carolyn pyjamas, which I also haven't photographed because by the time I had worn them, they were all crinkled and not very photogenic, but I will get photos of them at another point. I am getting a bit more up to date with photographing and posting things on Instagram now, so I will have photos of those soon. So yes, we had a lovely time. At the end of the video, I will put a series of videos and pictures and things if you are interested, and then if you're not interested, you don't have to watch that bit. But let me talk to you about this fabric shop I went to. So I had researched before we went fabric shops Palermo, and this one jumped out at me because it had quite a few reviews, and also it said that the lady in the shop designs her own prints, so you can only buy them in that shop. Now, the shop is called, I'm hoping I get this right, it's Tessutino, I think. I might have got the letters at the end wrong, but I will put it down below. And it's a really beautiful shop. It has loads of fabric, but there is a big focus on sort of traditional Sicilian prints. Now, what I find really interesting, when you are in Sicily, you see sort of a lot of shops that have these prints really bright, you know, with like lemons and sun and sort of blues and reds and yellows and really bold colours and this sort of tile effect on. But the people of Italy generally just wear black. Like, and very few prints. It was really interesting because I was like method dressing, do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to Italy, I'm going to be in Sicily, I'm going to wear all these bright colours and all these cool prints. And pretty much everywhere we went, people were in black or like neutral colours. and they were all plains, block colours. It was really interesting. So, and then I was there like bobbing around, and there was like spot the tourist, but oh well, I had a nice time. So, and I've spoken to a few people about this, and it's just that thing, I suppose, modern versus traditional. So traditionally they are known for these prints, but now it's like everywhere else, it's sort of a bit more homogenous. Interesting actually as well. So another thing that Sicily especially is really well known for is its ceramics. And they have a big problem there. And this applies with, so you can buy lots of products that are made from traditional Sicilian print fabrics. So like bags and scrunchies and things like that. And also you see these ceramics. So there are these little jars that are like heads and lots of other things around. And we ended up buying 2 little head jars and also a little nativity from a little ceramic shop, so not one of the tourist shops, a ceramic shop. And these were a bit more expensive, but you could tell that we wanted sort of some stuff we could take home that was a memory of our honeymoon, so we were willing to spend a little bit more than we would normally spend. And I was speaking to the guy in the shop, and you could tell because they were very like you could see they'd been hand painted, and everything in the shop was like slightly individual. And he was saying, like many places in the world, they've had this influx of products in Sicily that are mass produced in China and other parts of the world, and are brought over and sold very, very cheaply, which means that a lot of the traditional crafters are going out of business because it's really because people always want to buy, why buy a little jug for 60 euros when you could buy a massive one for 40 euros or a little one for like 6 euros. Do you know what I mean? So I would just say when you travel, do try and look out for if there is an art that you particularly love. So if, for example, you're going to Sicily and you think the ceramics are beautiful, like do try and buy from like a proper place. You see the cheap stuff literally everywhere. The streets are full of places selling it. But yeah, I felt like it was if you're able to afford the investment, which for us obviously it was a special trip, so we did have a bit more money to spend. Yeah, it's just worth seeking that out, because I do think that's sad that certain cultures, like cultural practices, are being killed off by this sort of consumerism. Anyway, the fabric shop was really nice, family owned. The lady who ran it was really, really nice, and her dad was in there, and he spoke to us a bit in Italian, and I spoke to him in very, very, very broken Italian, but we managed to make it work. And I was initially going to buy one fabric, and then Nathan was like, if you want to get one of these other ones, I'll get it for you. So then I got another fabric. And then I talked myself into, there was a velvet fabric and this really vibrant print. And it was just quite unusual. And so I was sort of saying, well, I don't know what I'd use it for. And then I decided I'm going to make some home furnishings. So I'll just show you what I've got. So all of these prints were designed by the lady in the shop. Again, you can see where the inspiration is. So I got 3.5 meters. It's actually in different parts because that's what she had left. 3.5 meters of this lovely lemon fabric. So you can see it has that traditional Majolica print, which you also see in those Dolce & Gabbana fabrics in the background. And then it has loads and loads of lemons. I love a lemon, not gonna lie. So this is 100% cotton, feels really, really soft. It has a nice drape to it, you'll see there. And yeah, just a really beautiful fabric. I just thought it was, my plan initially had been, I just wanted to buy something so that I could make something and be like, that was made from fabric I bought on my honeymoon. A lot of the fabrics were very bold. So this one, in terms of colours, even though I know it looks very bright, you'll see from my other fabrics, it was actually one of the more toned down palettes. So I thought I could probably make a dress or a little co-ord set or whatever. Obviously, this is going to go away until next summer at least, or a future summer, because it's November now and I need to get a grip of myself. But yeah, so that's one of the fabrics that I bought that was very pretty. Then one of the other prints that I'd been eyeing up that I initially wasn't going to get, I talked myself out of it because it's so loud. It is so loud, but it is so Sicilian. And I just initially was like, oh, I just don't know what I can make out of it because I don't know where I could wear a fabric that loud. Da, da, da. So this is beautiful. You can't even see. So it's got like oranges and lemons. It's got this traditional Sicilian thing. It's got cactuses. It's got all these different types of plants down here. Yeah, it's got some of the, hang on, let's see if I can show you that. Some of the ceramic head designs that you see everywhere. So it's just very much, it's like Sicily, the sun, which comes up, this motif comes up in lots of Sicilian prints. So it's loud, it's proud, it's here. So this is the one that Nathan bought me. Now, he bought me this to make something for myself, but I did think maybe I make him like a super loud shirt. He looks really good in really bold prints. Like, they really suit him. And we are hoping to go to Trinidad to see some of his family next year. It may be the year after. It just depends when we can afford to leave the house again. But I thought, I think in the Caribbean, you really can go very bold with your colour. When I've spoken to his family, they've always been like, they always like wear really nice, bright, colourful clothes. And when they've bought me fabric, it's always been like really bright colours. So I feel like he could wear a shirt in that in Trinidad. So I'm thinking I might make a shirt. That also is 100% cotton. It feels really soft and nice. Now, the cotton velvet, I just got a metre of this. So I'm going to show you. It's very sort of, oh, it's upside down. Hang on. Oh gosh, it's all going wrong. Right, hang on. There you go. So, yeah, that's the right way up because this dude here. Right, so we've got some nice oranges and things like this. Again, very traditional. I'm doing an absolutely terrible job of this, guys. Sorry. Yeah, very traditional sort of Sicilian motifs. Really bright colours. And I don't know how well you can see, but yeah, it's a cotton velvet. It's so smooth and like luxe. I just thought it was so unusual to have a print like this on a fabric base like this. And initially I kept coming back to it and I was going, but what would I make with it? Like, do I really need this? And then I decided that yes, I did, actually, by the way. So I decided I'm going to make some homewares with it. So eventually when we get our garden, as you've heard, is a tip. It's a mess. It's not a pretty place to be. But eventually we hope to have a terrace and nice plants and blah, blah, blah. And we have these nice bifold doors that open up and, you know, images of sort of sitting out on the terrace and blah, blah, blah. That's the plan. And I thought I might make a couple of cushions with the velvet. Not to stay outside, because obviously they're velvet. I'm not a monster. But I thought they could be nice ways to sort of decorate if we have like we've got this like egg chair thing that my grandma bought us. Or if we have like a nice bench to sit on or something, that I can just make some little nice cushions out of it. And again, it's just a touch. I'm quite sentimental, so I like to have little things around the house that are memories. So we've got lots of bits from our wedding. And now we've got a few bits from our honeymoon dotted around the house. So, yeah. So I just sort of couldn't leave it because it was so unusual. And I thought, when else am I going to see fabric like that? So yeah, that is what I bought. So it's a lovely little shop. I'll make sure there's a little video of it at the end of this. So as I said, I'm going to leave a video of various bits from the honeymoon at the end of this video. And I hope you enjoy. And I will be back soon with a more seasonal video. But I wanted to update you on that trip. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend and I'll see you soon. All right, bye guys. Hi guys, I'm popping on very quickly again at the end of this because when I was editing, I realised that I forgot to mention two makes that I wanted to tell you about. So one was my bell dress. How did I forget that? Which I made in striped cotton. Here is a picture. Always love the bell dress. I always feel amazing in it. I love this one because I think the buttons made it feel kind of luxe. So the bell was a winner. Also with my oversized shirt, which was Pattern Emporium, I did wear it quite a bit as a layering piece, but I found there was something going on that meant the fit wasn't quite right. So the side seams were really swinging forward at the bottom, and so the front was like sort of sitting funny, like all bunched. So I don't have any pictures of that, but I think I might get it on for a future vlog, and then see if there are any suggestions, because I loved the look of it, but just on me, it did not sit right, and I'm not 100% sure why at the moment. So those are a couple that I forgot to mention. Very happy for a man in the rain.